I don't know, the Soft Life girlies lied, and TikTok lied, and YouTube lied as well, and so did Instagram. There's nobody coming. It's you or no one. Somebody might come in temporarily, but like I said, we only got two hands. So if they drop something, they're either dropping themselves or God. And if they only got you and themselves, I wouldn't want to be in their hands anyway. So. Be available like that to my kids. So I know that there's certain career paths that I could never take because that doesn't align with who I want to be as a mother. Do I still want a career? Do I still want a life that allows me to be in control of my own financial journey? Of course, but I don't want it at the expense of risking not having the same relationship that I want to have with my children. And to be honest, not everybody wants this. Not every mother or father wants this, and I feel like that's okay. But as for me and my life and my family, that's something that I want. So just sitting down and being completely realistic about what you consider to be your dream life can actually help you get to where you want to be faster. Because if you're not realistic with the things you want just because you feel like they're very far-fetched or bizarre based off of your current life, you can't actually work as tirelessly or work as efficiently towards those things because you're not even honest with yourself that you really want it. To be honest, that example that I gave about being a mom, that's very realistic and that's very understandable. But I also have very unrealistic things, and they're unrealistic for other people, but I don't plan on them being unrealistic for me. Currently, I have 2 children and I would like a third. And I told myself, and I tell everybody, I will not and I do not want to have another child until I'm able to financially afford a full-time nanny. And that's very unrealistic for some people, but I'm very honest with myself. So I know that there's going to be a certain level of hard that I'm going to have to work, and there's going to be a certain level of lifestyle changes and adjustments that I'm going to have to do to be able to financially afford that. And I don't think that it's not going to happen. I'm 200% sure it's going to happen. And I feel like that's because I'm honest with myself. I would like to have a certain amount of cars, if you want to talk in a, materialistic sense. And that's going to require certain things from me. I can't tell myself that I would like to work at Chick-fil-A as a drive-thru person, which if you work at Chick-fil-A as a drive-thru person, there's nothing wrong with that. But I can't tell myself that that's what I want to do long term and then have these expectations that require more out of me financially. So being real with yourself is the first step to actually getting what you want, because if you can't even be honest with yourself about what you want, you can't expect God and the universe. And when I say universe, I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about in reference to people who don't believe, because for me it is God, and I just have to throw that out there. But for me, I feel like if I can't be realistic with what I want and be honest with God about what I want, He doesn't really have to give it to me, because at the end of the day, there's certain things that we all want out of life that are far-fetched and that are crazy, but somewhere somebody's living that life, and somebody has the things and somebody has the mental capacity that they get to operate out of, and there's somebody that has that level of peace that you want out of your life. You just have to figure out the best way for you to get it and the personalized map to how you can get that. So definitely number one would be to map out your dream life and be completely honest with yourself. Put it in there, as crazy as it sounds, as ignorant as it sounds, put it in there. I don't care if it's materialistic, if it's spiritual, if it's just bizarre, like so far-fetched, put it in there. Because somewhere, somebody has that life, and if you want it to be yours, the first step is to be honest with what you want and map it out. Number two, so after you've mapped out your dream life, obviously you have to start taking action. And the best way to take action is to create the habits that you need to get to that, right? So essentially, if you don't have the habits and routines of these people that are living the life that you want to live and have the things that you want to have, then I don't really know how to tell you to get it. Because for me, I feel like there's a certain kind of body that I want. And if I'm not going to do the same things that those people do, I can't expect my body to just naturally transform into that. So for me, some of the habits that I feel like have transformed my life in the past that I'm going to be getting back to it is waking up early is always going to be number one. And I know it sounds redundant because everybody says it, but that's the only way that I've seen proven correct for my life. And when I say early, it also depends on when your day starts. So if you're somebody that you don't work until 11 o'clock, early for you may be 9 a.m. But for somebody that works at 8 a.m., early may be 5 a.m. So understanding that when it comes to waking up early, it's based off of your lifestyle and where you're at and the responsibilities you have to tackle throughout the day, right? So everybody's is going to be different. I hate when people are like, oh, everybody wake up at 5 a.m. Why am I waking up at 5 a.m. if I have no children and my day doesn't really start until 1 o'clock because I work at 3? You don't need to wake up at 5 a.m. Stay asleep. And when I say wake up early or wake up earlier than you do, I mean in the sense of that it gives you enough time to execute the habits and routine that can make your life better and what you need your life to be. So waking up early, number one, of course. Number two, I would say physical activity, because for me, I noticed that, and I know people talk about this all the time, but people always mention the gym, and the gym is not the only way to get physical activity. Some people genuinely do not like the gym, and that is okay. You don't ever have to like something that you genuinely don't, because what happens is you try so much to focus on going to the gym that you don't actually do things that could give you some of the results or a similar result of going to the gym. Like for some people, their ideal, my piece of hair, sorry. Their ideal workout is bike riding. You can't tell me that somebody that bike rides every day for 2 hours isn't somebody that's as healthy or physically fit as somebody that works out. Everybody has their own level of fitness and physical endurance and strength that they want to achieve. If you were honest in your dream life plan about the level of physical activity that you would like to be at, or how you want to look in regards to your dream body, then that will give you a better understanding as to what kind of habits you need to develop physically. And when it comes to working out in any shape or form, because working out can be walking, working out can be bike riding, working out could be going to the gym, or it could be yoga. Any form of physical activity is going to send your hormones into la la land. And I hate that people don't talk about this more, because the way that I feel after working out or getting through a workout is unmatched. There's a specific word for it, so I don't want to use it because I don't know what the word is, but I think it's serotonin. I don't know. But just in case it's not, I'm just going to say there's a feeling. And that feeling that you get allows you to motivate yourself to finish out the rest of your day and your routine, essentially, right? So I would definitely say, number one, waking up early. Number two, physical activity. And for the third one, to make sure that these things are within your habits, are to eat healthy. Of course, when I say eat healthy, that means take this with a grain of salt. If you're somebody that for you eating healthy is just cooking your meals at home, that's okay. But for other people, eating healthy is eating specific things. Like for me, I have ulcerative colitis, which is a form of IBS, right? I've had it for about 15 years now. And that's something that I used to struggle with really bad when it came to eating healthy. And now I realize that my version of eating healthy isn't necessarily the same as everybody else's. For me, I can't eat vegetables in its like raw, natural state. If I don't drink something like a green juice, I can't digest it as well as somebody else can. And the reason for that is just because my body is different. My body makeup and the way my system works is different. So for me, eating healthy, shit's like choking me. For me, eating healthy is eating chicken breast and fruit, not chicken breast and broccoli. And at one point I could. And I realized that I was doing it because that was what everybody else was doing. And I realized that it set me back in my health journey in regards to my colitis, because I wasn't doing what worked for me. Fruits are something that doesn't upset my stomach as long as it's not something super citrusy. It doesn't upset my stomach. So for me, it's like, could I just keep telling myself that I need to eat the broccoli? Yes, but why? I drink the green juice and that's my greens intake for the day. And when I eat my chicken breast for lunch, I eat fruit with it, and that's okay, because that's how my dream life and my dream health and looking healthy and feeling healthy and eating properly, that's what's included in my routine. So understanding that you don't have to do what everybody else does when it comes to your habits, but understand that you need to start somewhere and just stack them. Like, you know how people always say habit stack your habits. So start with one habit. When you do that for like maybe 3 days to 5 days, then add on another one. Or when you feel like you've mastered it, add on another one. And then eventually you'll just have this full routine of habits that you do that allows you to be your best dream self, right? And I feel like the first thing you can do is, before adding on anything, is to remove the habits that you feel like are pulling you away further from the things that you want to do and want to accomplish. For me, I would say that's definitely social media. I'm pretty sure that's it for everybody. And I feel like social media is one of those catch-22 things. For me, when I'm on my business page, social media is great. Social media is amazing because I get so much inspiration. I get to, talk to other people that are in my industry. I get to engage with them. I get to, build up my content. I get to get content ideas. I get to actually efficiently run my business through social media. But at the same time, when I'm on my personal page and I'm just scrolling away and looking at other people's lives that in reality, they don't really have the lives that I would like to have, but for some reason we have this weird attachment to the way other people live their lives, even if it's a way that doesn't really resonate with you. And then I think in the same breath, some people take the other people that are living the lives that they want to live, and instead of using it as motivation, they use it as more so comparison to bring themselves down and bring themselves to a level that isn't really going to be able to do anything for you anyways, and it's not very effective. So if you can remove the bad and replace it with the good, just do like a swap. Like for every bad habit that you remove, replace it with a good one, and just slowly rotate through them, and eventually you'll see that all of it is basically positive, or most of it. You have to be patient with yourself and understand that you're still human. You're still gonna, fall from his grace, and you're still gonna, and when I say his grace, I'm saying like mess up and backtrack to where you were originally. That's gonna happen, and that's okay, because you're human, and life is all about trying and failing and succeeding. And I feel like so many people talk about just trying and succeeding, and so little about trying and failing. Failing can teach you just as much as a succeeding can, if not more. For me, I feel like definitely in my life, my failures have taught me more about life than my successes. But I also feel like people need to be realistic with themselves and understand that you're a work in progress. You're not a AI robot that can just wake up one day with a snap of a finger and just be perfect. That's not you. And if you figure out how to do that, you can call me and let me know, because I ain't figured it out yet. So let me know. Number 3 is going to be work on your physical appearance. Whatever your appearance dream was in your dream plan, your dream life plan, tap into that, and tap into it slowly, tap into it whatever pace you can. And if you didn't put that in your dream life, go back, circle back, and do that, because I feel like the better you look, the better you feel. And when I say look, I'm not saying in the sense of, this big materialistic way of just being put together 24/7. It's just being comfortable with yourself and looking to your standard of yourself, not necessarily society's. And I feel like when people make videos like this, they always conform to the society norms, which, don't get me wrong, I'm right with them, but that's not the case for everybody. Not everybody watching your videos cares to get their nails done every 2 weeks or every week, get their hair done 24/7. But figure out what your standard is for your physical appearance and bank on that and go based off of that. Don't tell yourself that you need to look a certain type of way to feel comfortable with yourself if that's not how you genuinely feel inside. For me, one of the things that I feel like helped me the most when it came to working on my physical appearance, and I still need to work on it, that's why I put it in my rebrand, and obviously this is for business as well. So physical appearance within yourself and as well as your business. In the business sense, I would say more of like your social media, how you present yourself to clients, how you communicate with clients, like how does that look appearance wise, especially like if you're somebody that has a service-based business like me. Just looking a certain way can make yourself feel better and give yourself the respect that you can demand from others. Because to me, I feel like people who just look any type of way in the sense of they don't feel comfortable and confident within themselves. Like, I have to keep reiterating that, because for me, if I go outside and I look crazy, I don't feel confident because that's my standard. But there's some people who confident for them is their hair being blue or their hair being shaved. And that's okay, because at the end of the day, it just needs to be confidence that exudes through your physical appearance, not necessarily conforming to what everybody else wants, because we're not all the same, right? So for me, I feel like when I look in a way that I exude confidence and I exude a certain level of like just aura, like of an aura, I feel like that, like people feed off of that and they treat me accordingly to that. And I feel like for me, for my physical appearance, one of the biggest things has been to learn how to do things myself. So for instance, I think I've mentioned it before in another video, I have a keratin treatment, and the keratin treatment has allowed me to wash and do my hair myself every single week, and I love how it comes out, and I love it. And I love my hairstylist for that, because I feel like she's given me the tools to make myself look presentable. I don't always have to rely on her, right? And I've had a good experience with keratin. I'm not telling you to get a keratin treatment through this. I'm just saying that's something that works for me. So I'm able to do my hair myself every week, because financially it's not realistic for me in this very moment of my life to get my hair done every single week. A silk press is $175 in Miami. Like, let's be for real. When it comes to my nails, I do get my nails done. I try to go consistently. They usually last about 3 weeks, because I do like the après. But something else I want to learn how to do is put on press-ons myself, so that way I'm not giving myself another bill, but I'm also able to maintain my physical appearance. Now when it comes to waxing, I pay the people their money. But when it comes to other things, it is important to know how to do things yourself. Even when it comes to makeup, I like to put on like a really simple like face for makeup when it comes to doing these videos, right? Imagine if I was so uncomfortable with doing my own makeup that I had to pay somebody every time I wanted to make a YouTube video. I wouldn't be as consistent with getting to where I want to be in life and getting to my dream life if I had to rely on other people to put on 2 little pieces of foundation on my face, right? So that's why I feel like it's so essential to be self-sufficient in regards to your physical appearance, and understand that to have your things, like some people, for them, you know, they do their own nails, they do their own makeup, they do their own wax, but they cannot do their own hair, and that's okay. Just making sure that everything is balanced out and it's realistic for your lifestyle. I'm sure sometime soon in my life I'll be at a place where I can get my hair done every single week, I can get my nails done every 2 weeks, I can do that in rotation, and I won't have to actually know how to do any of this myself. Who knows, maybe one day I'll have a whole damn glam squad for when I want to do content and videos. That's gonna be great, but in this very present moment, that's not my reality. And I'm not gonna harp on it and tell myself that I can't do this until I get this, or can't do that until I get this. I'm just gonna do it in the meantime and do it the best way I can. And then later on in life, when I can adjust and upgrade, I'll do that. So definitely taking the time out to learn what you feel okay with doing yourself and not doing yourself, and taking pride in your appearance and taking pride in yourself and the way you show up and look in the world. Because let's be real, we live in America, one of the most, if not the ficklest countries in the entire world. How you look matters, and how you show up matters, because people are going to treat you accordingly. So if you know that you want to demand a certain type of respect or demand a certain type of energy and feel when you walk into a room, adjust yourself to look that way. I wouldn't go show up to a client's house in a ripped up t-shirt and some old boxers that I got from an ex-boyfriend. No, I would make sure and present myself in the way that I want people to respect me. Somebody gave me money to perform a service, I'm going to make sure that I look presentable and like I am ready to, you know, execute that service. I'm sorry, I tell y'all in every video, I'm Esau. My words don't come that fast as it should. So number 4 is going to be the thing that I feel like has helped me the most in the past, and I feel like it's going to help me again. Do a keyword exercise. I don't know whose video I seen this on. I want to say that it was Breenley. And this was years ago that I tapped in and did this. It was basically to get a bunch of keywords that you want people to use when they're describing you and your business. So for me, I used to be like somebody that I hated the word classy, and I couldn't stand it. And it was because I hated the way people just like wanted to zip it up in a box, and it's just, there's only one way to be classy and there's no other way. But now as I get older, I realize that there are things that about me that I want people to consider me classy about. So definitely doing a keyword search to figure out what are the words that I want people to use when they're describing me when I'm not in the room and when I'm not around, or when they're telling somebody about my business, and aligning yourself with those words and figuring out what are the steps I need to take to be more like these words that I like, that I want people to describe about myself, right? One of the words that I feel like is my favorite word when people describe me would definitely be hardworking. I don't want anybody to ever be able to associate me with the word lazy, so I do the things that I need to do to continuously appear and present myself as somebody that is hardworking. It's not that I have something to prove to people, it's more so I have something to prove to myself. And these are the things that I want to align myself with because they align with my dream life. So being hardworking is something that is going to allow me to get all those cars I want, the nanny, the lifestyle, the specific lifestyle that I want. And being hardworking can also go hand in hand with what I mentioned about how I want to show up as a mother. I've always seen my mom as hardworking. I've never not seen my mom in that aspect, and I want my kids to feel that same way about me. And I don't want them to think that I'm hardworking in the sense of I overwork or I don't know how to balance my life, because that would obviously negatively affect them in the future. But I do want them to see me as somebody that I say I want to do something and I go after it and I do it, and until I figure it out or until I figure something else out, I continue doing what I need to do. So definitely figuring out the words that you want people to use when they're describing you. If the word is going to be beautiful, that's fine, but there's certain things that you need to align yourself with physically to get those type of compliments. If it's something like I describe certain people as super spiritual, that's a very big compliment for some people. And I feel like if you want somebody to see you as that, you know what you need to do when it comes to aligning yourself with your faith in God, and how you exude that and how you get that message out to the world is on you, and it's in between you and God. And for some people that means that they need to be a pastor, and for some people that just means that they need to be somebody that somebody can call on when they need to be prayed for. So adjusting the keywords to align with your dream life and what you listed out there is probably going to be the most essential part of this entire thing, because that will help you figure out the habits, that will help you figure out what your standard of appearance is, and it's just like a big cycle at the end of the day. So this one I'm in the process of doing right now. Number 5 is going to be declutter your life, your mind, and your space. So when I say declutter your life, that means to remove things out of your life that don't serve you and they can't help you get to where you want to be. So you're decluttering it, you're deciding what works and what doesn't work. And things in your life would be maybe changing your phone number, if you want to go that extreme. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just removing yourself from certain people's social media, just anything that's a part of your day-to-day life, decluttering it in a sense that you're able to breathe and operate in your life to its full capacity. And obviously this is not like an overnight thing, because for some people that clutter in your life may be your job, and not everybody can just get up and quit their job. Well, you can, but not everybody is willing to get up and just say, forget all my responsibilities, let me just get up and quit, right? So declutter your life may be something like a job, but that's going to be one of the things that, even though you do need to declutter it, you do need to take that in a step-by-step process, right? So the first step would probably be to figure out what kind of job you want. If you did your dream life, map, you would know what kind of job you would actually want, right? And be honest with yourself. And then from there, go after it in a sense of update your LinkedIn, go on social media and network with people that you know that are in the field if you can do that. Do the things that you need to do to get to the point where you can declutter your life and remove yourself from that job. I know it sounds very simple, but I'm trying to make it sound simple so you can have the understanding that it is simple, but it just takes time and it takes work, right? So now when it comes to decluttering your mind, you need to center yourself in the sense of figure out what puts you in the best mental state and what do you really have to afford when it comes to your mental capacity. Not everybody has the mental capacity to deal with certain things, and understanding what your mental capacity is and how much you can really deal with without going straight over the edge can help you declutter your mind and just get a grip of your mental state. And I feel like your mental state is so important for achieving anything you want in life, because if your mind is not right, if your mind is cluttered with things that don't serve you, that don't have anything to do with your current life and the life that you, well, not even your current life, really the life that you want, not necessarily your current life, then what are you going to really do about it? So decluttering your life, decluttering your mind, and also decluttering your space. So obviously this is the most brainless one that you can do. Throw away everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything in the sense of if you don't use it, if you haven't used it in the past year, you're not going to use it. If you don't necessarily need it for any reason, if you have negative things attached to those items, just let it go, please. Like Marie Kondo, like the lady on Netflix, let it go, because the clutter in your life represents where you feel like you are in your life currently, right? And there are certain things that you're not going to bring into your dream life that are currently in your space. So if you have things that don't make you feel good and they're not something that you need to live, then you can get rid of it. I feel like it's so weird because like I always see people like hold on to like these little weird things, because I do it too. And whether it's like a good or bad memory, you still hold on to it. And all that's doing is cluttering your space with things that are going to clutter your mind and then in return clutter your life. So it's just like a cycle of clutter. So definitely just taking a list and making a list of every space and area you need decluttered in your life and working through it little by little. For me, I started with my bathroom last week, and that makes me feel so amazing. Even when it came to like doing my hair, doing my kids' hair, it was so nice to actually have a space that I didn't feel like overwhelmed me, and it felt more peaceful, right? So then I'm gonna move on and move through the list of what needs to be decluttered, but I'm also not going to overwhelm myself and just try to do it all at one time. No, it doesn't work like that. Unless you're moving out or something like that, you don't necessarily need to do that. It's your space. You can take your time with it. And I feel like you don't want it to be something that is not enjoyable. So if you have it in you to declutter one aspect of your space a week, then just do one a week. If you're somebody that you can do one a day, then do one a day. But either which way you put it, eventually the list is going to end and everything will be decluttered, and that'll be another step into your dream life. Number 6 in rebranding your life and your business is understanding that nothing in your life or business can change until you do. So understanding that until you start to develop some of these habits that you're listing out and these keywords, you're never really going to get to a space where you actually feel like you are where you want to be, right? And in order to get there, you have to be understanding to know that you have the control over it. There's nobody coming, like Superman is not a real thing. Like he's not coming in your life to just pick everything up off the floor and carry you away into the night sky. You have to do the work. You have to do the habits. You have to keep giving yourself the chance. You have to keep giving yourself the opportunity to succeed at these things and actually understand that if you're not going to do anything about it, it's never going to get done. If financially you're in a space where you want to, combat your finances and get rid of your debt and control your spending, if you don't change your habits and if you don't change your mindset around money, nothing about your financial situation is going to change. The only thing that could change is maybe you get an influx of money or a decrease in money, and I guarantee you, you will do the same things that you've been doing, just at a grander scale or at a smaller scale. Either which way you spin it, you have to understand that you don't change, your life is not going to change. You you hold your whole life in your hands, It's like God and you only got two hands. So if you think that somebody else can actually, drop something in their life, whether it be God or themselves, to pick you up, I'm here to tell you it's not going to happen. So understanding that you're in control and it's your responsibility and it's your life and it's your chance and your opportunity to change will give you that push that you need, that, nobody's, I don't know, the Soft Life Girlies lied. And TikTok lied and YouTube lied as well, and so did Instagram. There's nobody coming. It's you or no one. Somebody might come in temporarily, but like I said, we only got two hands. So if they drop something, they're either dropping themselves or God. And if they only got you and themselves, I wouldn't want to be in their hands anyway. So yeah. Number 7, and the final tip and task that I'm going to be doing when it comes to my rebrand is to redevelop my relationship with God. And when I say this, I'm saying it in the sense of, I don't feel like I've ever really strayed from God completely. I've strayed from understanding the magnitude of what He can do for my life. So I'm going to work on redeveloping, aligning myself with what not only God has for me, but also what He requires from me. So I feel like when it comes to the aspect of my life, I feel like God has a lot for my life. But when it comes in the aspect of what He expects from me, I feel like that comes from my business and my overall purpose of what I do in this world, right? And I feel like everybody has a purpose, whether you know what it is or not. But at the same time, I feel like working on your purpose and working side by side with God on your purpose will allow you to not only get your dream life, but also navigate through your dream life much more efficiently. I feel like understanding that you don't have to do anything without God, and doing things with God will just get you there faster, and faster in the sense of you're not going to go through certain things that you would go through if you were to do it on your own. And I'm not saying it's going to be just a path of gold. I'm saying in the sense of you'll always have God to fall back on, and just understanding that if you need to redevelop your life and your relationship with your spirituality within Christ, I feel like you get this like awakening that this whole time I didn't have to go through this journey by myself. I didn't have to do these things on my own. I could have had a co-pilot this entire time. So overall, if you do nothing else, at least do number 7, because if you do number 7 and you get that relationship that you need to have with God, and it doesn't need to be perfect, and it doesn't need to be super Christian or super spiritual the way other people, seem and appear to be on social media. Just get something, just get a piece of it and work on it from there and develop it from there. I feel like if you do nothing else, do that, because at the end of the day, if you have that, you'll see that naturally your life will start to just adjust, and you'll get so much clarity about what you want to do in life and where you want to go in life. And I feel like I've never gotten more clarity from God than lately, when I've just been thinking and pondering on what I want my dream life to look like, and just keeping it between me and God. Like, I don't need to, it's like having a vision board. Usually a vision board, that's something you can share with people, but I feel like everybody doesn't need to know every aspect that you desire for your life. Some of those things can be kept between you and God, and I feel like it's things like that that helped me redevelop my relationship with him, because there's things that he knows that I want out of life that other people don't know, and I love the exclusivity that I give God in that. So understanding that you can do all of these things and you can do all of these tips and tricks, but you leave him out of it, don't know how easy it would be for you. So that wraps up this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end, I would love for you to not only like the video to let me know that you guys like videos like this, but also to subscribe to my channel for when I post more things. And I post everything from entrepreneurship as well as balloon decor, event decor, tutorials, beauty, anything lifestyle. So I don't really have a niche right now, and I'm, like I said, I'll talk to God about it, but I don't really know what it is. I just kind of post whatever is on my heart to post. So this was something that I felt like would be great to share with everyone, and I hope you guys enjoyed it.